Hello, everybody! So, Disventure Camp Season 5 has recently released its 13th episode out of 26, which marks the halfway point of the season. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. So, I wanted to take some time to reflect on the first 13 episodes and then try to predict what will happen in the latter half of the season. First things first, let's unpack some of my early season predictions. Oh my days, I was out there swinging with these. Some of them were right on, but others were horrifically off the mark. Firstly, I predicted Benji leaving before Allie, and I was totally right on this. Not to dunk on Benji or anything, but I kinda knew from minute one that his whole storyline could be wrapped up really easily. And comparing him to Allie especially, like, Allie's much more in tune with the game and was willing to flip if it so suited her, like with what happened in episode 2 with Aiden's vote. Up till episode 10 was exactly to my expectations. What I didn't predict though was that Allie was gonna leave so soon in episode 13 without really doing much to set her apart from Benji. Like, you would think that someone who's willing to make the hard decisions in the game, like Allie, would last longer, especially in contrast to someone like Natalia, who has a history of struggling with exactly that. By having her potentially bounce off of Natalia, we'd be able to uncover more of why Natalia is acting the way she is, and to what degree this thought takes on her mind. But what came of it? A single conversation. Incredibly disappointing in my opinion. If Allie was always meant to be a side character, let's at least let her more meaningfully contribute to the themes of the more important characters like Natalia. Otherwise, it feels like she and Benji don't really need to be in the season at all. Next, the Eclipse trio of Ren, Dunya, and Nura. I've always gotten Vibe Tribe kind of vibes from them, and so I expected at least one of them to go out pre-merge similar to Tristan. Give a bit of a shock value and then shake up the dynamics of the other two in the trio. And I settled pretty solidly on Dunya for this for a few reasons. One, she's way too mature and level headed. If season 4 taught us anything, it's that the characters that go far need to have some pretty notable flaws to add color to their story. Those flaws emphasize change and growth. And at the end of the season, we can appreciate how these characters are able to overcome those flaws. When I look at this Eclipse trio, Dunya sticks out like a sore thumb because, unlike Ren or Nura, she has so few negative qualities to her, much less ones that she would act on. There's no growth to be had. By around episode 7, I was continually predicting Dunya as the next out from the fans team until her eventual elimination at episode 12. And you know what? Not only did Dunya's elimination meet expectations, but it greatly exceeded them. I did not expect to love her elimination so much, but it was so fun to watch, especially with the stuff happening between Nura and Ren. Unfortunately, though, this comes at a bit of a cost. I was so fixated on Dunya being the next out that I was completely blindsided by Aiden and Evie's eliminations. More so Evie's. Let me explain. Evie was a character that I completely overthought. I expected her to last so much longer with one particular reason why. She was getting compared to Miriam, the winner of season 1. We had her sit on the chair in the episode 1 paintball challenge exactly like Miriam. And then Aiden went on to explicitly compare her to Miriam. So I was like, okay, interesting. The notable part of Miriam's season 1 journey is that she acted kind of like a guide to the other characters in the season like Jake, Tom, and Ellie. She has the life experience and wisdom about her to support these characters. I was thinking maybe the same could have been done with Evie, like maybe she'd be able to ground some of the young'uns in the fans team like Olivia, Aiden, Nura, or Sam. Combine this with how suspiciously long she's lasted for someone who on first impression is very unserious, again similar to Miriam, and the fact that Sam directly mentions Miriam as part of why he decided to join Disventure Camp, you kinda got a recipe for someone who has more to her story than meets the eye. Obviously, this didn't end up happening, and I feel a bit foolish to have even dreamt up such a scenario. But oh well, c'est la vie. In an alternate universe, Evie would have been the winner of season 5, and it would have been so unbelievably iconic. Another character I completely overthought was Bruno. I thought Bruno would be someone who lasted very long in the season, like late merge, and it's mostly because of what he represents. He's a superfan, so naturally I thought, okay, there could be some themes of what it means to be a fan and what it means to be a favorite, and have that story tie into the season's theme of fans versus favorites. And we did get some of it with his interactions with Tom and Spencer, but it was nothing substantial in the slightest. Bruno lasting a while didn't end up happening, and in honesty, I'm incredibly relieved. Bruno very quickly became one of my least favorites with his storyline with Lake, which I did not like at all. And when he got sat out for the episode 10 challenge, I realized, wow, the favorites team is so much better without his presence. When he got eliminated in episode 11, I was actively cheering for it. I couldn't have been more happy that my prediction about him was wrong. I don't know what to say. Let's just move on. Now comes the time where I start making new predictions. Predicting is fun, so I may as well go ahead and see what sticks. And I'll give my opinions on what I would personally like to happen, regardless of my predictions. Currently, the biggest question on everyone's minds is who is winning the comeback challenge? We see at the end of every episode the eliminated character choosing whether to participate in the challenge or call it quits for the season. It's been a consistent presence, which probably means that it will hold a good amount of significance to the season story. I've seen a lot of people predict Benji being the one to win the comeback challenge, but I heavily disagree. I think Benji's storyline has always been very simple, very basic, and very irrelevant to everyone else that it wouldn't make any sense for him to come back. There is no shot in my mind that he'll return. For who I think will actually win the comeback challenge, there's only one character in mind, and that's Dunia. I think it's a case of her having actual relevance to others in the fans team, especially Nura and Ren, who are the most pivotal characters there. And that's really all she needs, since no one else who has been eliminated can speak the same. On top of that, though, there's also the whole sun and moon motif. It's so incredibly on the nose, and it has to be for one reason or another. But if Dunia ends up losing the comeback challenge, then that's some serious egg on my face. Yet another addition to the list of things that I overthought. That being said, I personally wouldn't be too over the moon with a Dunia return. Pun intended. I just don't find her to be particularly entertaining, and I would like for there to be some change to her moving forward. She can't just be the same overly sensible person for every single situation. I need some spice. Perhaps the show could lean into her feelings of betrayal with her misplaced trust in Sam, and I do hope that's the direction she takes. Otherwise, I don't know what more she can give. The comeback challenge is something I've honestly not been looking forward to, since there's no one I really want back, and comeback challenge winners tend not to be my exact cup of tea. I'm incredibly apprehensive of having a comeback challenge in the first place, but I'll keep an open mind. It could blow my socks off if executed well, so let's just see what happens. And finally, my winner pick. It has to be Nura. I've been calling it for a long while now, and I'm sticking to it. That story of hers feels more than significant enough to really deliver in the finale. And something that I've noticed is that Disventure Camp really likes showcasing the young adult experience and telling a story of how one is able to define themselves in their adulthood. Last season was a prime example of that, with Logan being the winner of that season, and the recent comic featuring him and Jade, the other finalist in that season, explored that theme even further. I have a whole other video discussing and analyzing the comic, so please check that out if you haven't. Back to Nura, she has quite a strong story setup, and she gets put to the test a lot already with her interactions with Dunia, Ren, and Ara. There's a great amount of push and pull between her and her pessimism, and that's something that could carry her through the season and conclude in the finale. The other character I'll propose as a potential winner is Natalia. There's an incredible amount of detail, texture, and nuance to her story. And the thing that really makes me think it might be Natalia is the sheer amount of connection to her previous season, season 4. There's a lot of interesting parallels to season 4 Anastasia and season 4 Spencer, and her story in a way hits similar notes to those of Hannah and Zade's, with Natalia's struggle with playing the game, and how other characters react to that. And similar to Logan, I think we'll see how she'll internally struggle with her mistakes in the game, and see how she tries to rectify them. If a returnee wins this season, it has to be the one person who's consistently giving us content that calls back to their previous experience and why they returned in the first place. I want it so badly to be Natalia winning the season, but I have a small fear that she'll be cut early and this won't happen. That being said, even if she does get eliminated, I'll still celebrate her character as if she won. I'm really looking forward to the merch section of this season. My gut instinct tells me that it will be of similar quality to the pre-merge. There will definitely be stories like Nora's and Natalia's that I think can hit really hard by the end of the season, given the amount of setup they've been getting. But I think there will also be stories that I'll be much less interested in. I'm not naming any names, but you can probably guess. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye out for Nora and Natalia in particular. If Nora and Natalia happen to interact with each other, I will be seated. As well, I'll also keep an eye out for Tom, Ren, Fiore, and Olivia due to their proximity to those aforementioned characters. I'm also keeping an eye out for Rosa because of what had just transpired with Lake breaking her promise with the last vote. It's very juicy setup building on top of Rosa and her misplaced trust in Natalia. Now even her number one ally isn't fully trustworthy. I'm interested in seeing where that goes. Spencer, I'm extremely apprehensive about. The main reason why I liked him so much in the first 10 episodes is that push and pull dynamic between him and Natalia. We've seen a lot of similarities in the way they play, leading to both of them approaching each other to pitch game moves. But despite that, neither of them have full trust in the other. It's a really fun relationship. And what's really interesting to me is what happened last episode with Lake being the one to pitch a game move to Natalia, only for Natalia, just like Spencer, to not follow up with a proposed plan in favor of her own agenda. That was amazing to see. But unfortunately, Spencer's interactions with Natalia have been dwindling significantly at the tail end of the pre-merge, which is such a shame. My small hope is that the post-merge will reconnect back to some of the ideas and themes that were presented, and we can go back to that fun dynamic. But anyways, I think that's it for the video. I'm having such a blast with this season. Yes, while there's quite a number of characters and storylines that I don't really like at all, the ones that do hit for me are some of the best in the series, in my opinion. That's something that will consistently get me back on my seat watching episodes as they come out, even if I dislike the direction the previous episode took. I'd say this is overall my second favorite season so far, right behind season 4. Of course, since it isn't finished yet, we'll just have to wait in order to see how all the themes connect back to each other at the end of the day. It's showing lots and lots of promise here. That being said, do let me know what you think in the comment section below. I think I'm much more optimistic about this season than most, but I'm interested in seeing how many will agree or disagree with that. I think I'm much more optimistic about this season than most, but I'm interested in seeing how many will agree or disagree with that. But for now, take care, and I'll see you all next video.